that was something that my mother and father both liked very much. And we used to sit in the house and we used to sing those songs, and he would just sit there and just listen, and tears in his face, because he missed Mama so much. My father never got over losing my mother. He never was the same. They had a fabulous marriage. I was there, I know. I saw it. Their marriage is what a model marriage should be. Dad was a good father, took good care of us, me, mother. He always had food on the table, everything I ever needed. He was a very kind man. He always was trying to help someone somewhere. It didn't matter where. If he was in the home, he was trying to open the door for someone. You know, it didn't matter where, he was always trying. He picked up the sticks on the road and the limbs that fall across the road because that was something he could do. And it didn't matter, even the last he got where he couldn't do much, he still was out doing what he could to help. He always helped people. That didn't always turn out good, because some people you just can't help. But he had that in him. Always would help whoever he could that would let him, including me. You know, sometimes in your life you think about the little things that doesn't mean a whole lot at the time, but the little things you remember. Like the first time when I was 4 years old and I was thirsty. And Daddy was out delivering gas, and he takes me up to this faucet in the yard, and I'm trying to learn how to get water out of a faucet. And I'm struggling. I remember him showing me and cupping my hands and putting it under that faucet and showing me how to drink out of a cup hand. Those things like that you don't ever forget. That's part of being a good father. You know, it's something that in life, little things like that, like I said at the time, it's not a big deal, but you don't forget those things. You don't forget. I remember one time when I had my tricycle out in the yard and I was playing, and the field was covered in water. And I decided I'd take that out there in the middle of the field, and there I was, stuck. I had my shoes on, and my mom beat me if I just got wet. I sat out there a long time, and finally, my father come home from work, and he saw me out there. And I asked my father for help, and he said, "Don't worry, son, I'll be there in a minute. Just hold on." As he always is. He had that gleam in his eye when he could help someone. It's what he wanted. That's what he preached. He wanted to help people. That's what it was all about. You know, he wanted to bring people into Jesus Christ. He wanted to help people in any way he could. And so he comes back with a rope with a stick on the end of it and throws it out there to me. And I remember this. I could have been probably 6 years old, maybe 7. But probably 6. I was young. And so I'm sitting holding this rope, and he said, "No, son, don't do that. Wrap it around the handlebar." And so he wraps it around the handlebar, and he pulls me out. And I get out, and I think, someday I'm only a 4-wheel drive. This won't ever happen to me again. But you don't, it's the little things that's so important now that, you realize, and I used to go with my father everywhere. My father was my best friend. He was my best friend. He was a person that I could always trust. There's very many people in lifetime that you can trust. He was a person I always trust. He never let me down. Neither did my mother. Their marriage was just unbelievable. I remember every Saturday morning, my father would get up and go in there and make coffee for my mother, and they'd lay in bed and just talk and catch up on everything. I mean, they were inseparable. and they let me tag along, and I'm so appreciative of that. Nowadays, you stick your child off somewhere, they took me. It was always me, mother, and dad in the front seat. And we always went somewhere. If we went somewhere, he made sure that I had what I wanted and mother had. She'd go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, he'd take me to get a hot Whopper. He'd take me all the way over to get something different. Because that's what a kid does. He wants a hamburger, he don't want chicken. So he made sure we had what we wanted. He took good care of us, took good care of me. You know, we always go to we had our little thing, we'd always go to the donut castle and get us a donut on a Saturday. I'm not sure if that was more for him than me, but he loved them too, so. But we had our little things that we did. And I think what made my childhood so great is he took the weekend, the Sunday, and always went to grandmother. He went back to his parents, grandmother and granddaddy. So grandmother and granddaddy was a big part of my life. And I contributed the fact of keeping me out of trouble. Because there was my ground. There I was grounded with my kin and with the people that love me. And he always made sure that we were there every weekend. I mean, we were there almost every weekend with family. That was my childhood. I can't complain about my childhood because I had a wonderful childhood. I had a wonderful family. And we're such a blessed family. We have such a wonderful. I'm really going to miss him because he was truly my best friend. He was truly loved me. My father was not a person that went around telling you he loved you. He wasn't that kind. He didn't have to. He didn't have to. When you saw that twinkle in his eye, when you seen that big smile, that's when you knew he loved you. There was no doubt in your mind he loved you. Because he didn't have to go around saying it. But he loved you. I remember times I'd stay at grandmother's for a week. And so he'd miss me so much. When I seen him get out of the car, he would literally run over Mama and run in the house to find me. And he walked in that door, the room just lit up with the biggest smile. When he looked at me, and with that smile, he didn't have to tell me he loved me. Because I know he did. Because I can always look at him and look at that smile. I can always remember that smile. It came from him. Because that's just who he was. And when Mother died, it was such a hard time for him. And the saddest thing that I've ever saw in my life, by far, a couple of days after Mother was dead, we lost her. She always had this cup in the middle console. And he was kind of getting rid of some of the things that we didn't need she had. And that cup was there, and he looked at that cup. And I said, Dad, you might as well just get rid of it. That was Mama's cup she always had in the vehicle. She had a straw in it. He didn't think I saw it, but I did. I never said a word to him. But he took that cup. And he got out of the vehicle to throw it in the dumpster. And he pulled that straw out. And he put it in his lips. He pulled it across his lips. One last time, where my mother had her lips and her lipstick on it, he pulled it through his lips one more last time. That's the saddest thing I ever saw in my life. He didn't think I saw it. He thought he hid it from me, but I saw it. That right there tells you what kind of love he had for Mother. That tells you what kind of man he was. He wanted to touch her lips one more time. Oh, I never saw it. That was my father. He was a God-loving person, and he was absolutely a wonderful man. And I'd do it again. I'd do it 2 or 3 more times. I'll do whatever it takes. I told him I'd do whatever it takes to be with you and help you and whatever we got to do. And to leave this with you, I got over that night, and they told me he wasn't going to live much longer. And they thought he may live another 10 days. And I just couldn't live with that. I didn't want him to live another 10 days because he's hurting so bad, and there was no point in him suffering. I didn't want that to happen to him. I laid my head on his chest and I prayed to God. I said, God, I believe in all my heart that this man is a God. I believe he's walked with you. I know he's walked with you. Give me a sign. I want a sign, God. Give me a sign. Show me. He don't deserve to sit here for another 10, 12 days and suffer. I don't want this to happen. This shouldn't happen. This man walked with you. This shouldn't happen. Give me a sign. I went home at 6 o'clock that night. At 3 o'clock in the morning, he was supposed to be, they said he would last at least another week. At 3 o'clock in the morning, they called me and told me he was gone. He lasted just a few more hours. God gave me that sign. He gave me what I asked for. I already knew it. I just wanted it. I just wanted to see it. I knew. I love you, Daddy. I miss you.